There are a lot of stories coming out about people being debanked. We've talked about one of them, Nick Vujicic, who lost his bank account. You know, a man born life without limbs, and they took his bank accounts away from him at a big national bank. And we've heard about Sam Brownback, how he was debanked with his, I mean, this guy was a senator. He served as in a cabinet secretary, just an incredible man, and he's been debanked. Well, there's another story we heard about, and it is Dr. Ruth Kennedy. I want you to meet her, and we're bringing her into the Economic War Room to tell her story. Welcome, Dr. Kennedy.
Hello, nice to meet you.
A pleasure to meet you. I just heard recently from a mutual friend that you had a bank account that was literally frozen, and they told you couldn't access your money. Do I have that right? Tell your story.
You do, absolutely. So I started an account with Bank of America in April. I told them that the purpose of the account was for a property that I had purchased, that I was building a retreat center for women that had been abused, and it was strictly for them to be ministered to come up out of it and push restart on their lives. And I said, that's what this account is for. And they were not nice to me from the beginning. They were disorganized, they didn't get things right, and I had to follow up with them. But when I had a donor give me a $500,000, that's when all crap happened. They began to lock me down and lock me out of my account. And last week, they shut down my account for 4 days.
Now, let's stop a second. You got $500,000 you're bringing to a bank. You would think that would be a great thing. And, I've watched the Beverly Hillbillies and how they treated Mr. Clampett when he showed up with millions of dollars. You're bringing $500,000. You'd think the bank would welcome you with open arms. Wow, a new customer and a lot of new money. But that's not what they did?
No, that is not what they did. Actually, when I told them that I had to spend the money for the property, for the building of the log cabins and the different things I was doing, the bank manager said some things that I would either say ageism or sexism. You can go either way. Things like, you're a woman, you don't know what you're doing. Bank of America needs to manage your money for you. And these things went on and on. I mean, I just gave you a tip of the iceberg. But he really belittled me. He even kicked one of his direct reports out of his office, out of their office. Guy was helping me do something. I was trying to wire some money to somebody that had a bill to pay. And the manager kicked him out. And I'm like, what is this? So,
well, they were treating it like it's not your money, it's their money, and they have every right to it, which is the problem that we see with big banks across the board. It's what we see with the federal government. They don't think it's your money either. They think it's their money. This is what scares me so much about central bank digital currencies and all of that. But it was still your money, and you could write checks on it and spend it, right?
I could up until last Tuesday.
And what happened?
Now, what happened is I was trying to wire some money for a bill that I needed to pay. And you can do that from your home computer. Well, before I left the bank, because they couldn't get the wiring to work, don't ask me why. So I said I'd do it from home. And the bank manager, as I was departing, said, your account needs to be locked down. And I looked at him and I said, dare you to bring it on, buddy. I shouldn't have said that. Just saying. So what happened is they locked me out. I went into the bank on Wednesday. They still locked me out, and he was very rude, very disrespectful. Now, fortunately for me, I have a boyfriend who has his own investment firm, and he went through and said, sexism, your small town of Winston-Salem just isn't going to work. You're in Raleigh tomorrow for a meeting. Go to the Raleigh banks. And I did. And when I did, they tried everything they could to unlock it, and they couldn't do it. So, I told them my story, and they were offended that this manager would do what he did to me. And they took copious notes. And then for all of Thursday and all of Friday, it took 8 managers in 2 banks in Raleigh, plus a regional manager, plus a regional president, to unlock the account. And the only reason they decided to unlock it is because I threatened them with Fox News, Dana Perino, Brett Baer, and Tom Brokaw, because I know his daughter, Sarah. And once I put a threat out there, man, they moved a mountain and they let it go.
Well, that's not the scary thing. Is not everybody has your connections. Not everybody can threaten, and they just lose the money or lose control over it, or they agree to do something with it that they didn't really intend. And the really frightening part is it can be done by a lower level employee. And they say, well, it's not our fault, a lower level. But in 5 years, lower level employees under DEI and some of the other fast track things will be running the banks. And so this is what we have to look forward to.
Right, but that is exactly who locked my account down. An account manager at a local branch. He locked it. And not only did he lock it, he's messing with the wrong person. I called my lawyer. He told me to ask him about were there any federal regulations that were blocking it. I called the fraud department. They said, no, it's just bank policy. I told him it's my money. I don't care about their policy. I want my money. And literally, it took a threat in order for them to give me the money back.
Yeah, well, this is a warning of things to come, because unfortunately, under the banking laws, once you deposited it, you became a creditor to the bank, and it became their asset under the banking laws, and you weren't able to access your own money. And that's, that's the frightening thing, is this wasn't a run on the bank where they didn't have the money. It's where they just took control of it because they didn't like what you were doing with it. At least that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. And the reason I know what I know is 3 female bank managers in Raleigh went and looked and saw that this man had had 4 accusations of racism and sexism before me. They hadn't done anything about it, and he had done the same thing to them. But I'm the only one that raised the ruckus to take it to the level that I did until I could get the resolution I did.
Well, we wish you well in operating the funds. It sounds like you're doing something really good for society, helping women that have suffered abuse and so forth. It sounds like you've got some big financial backers and supporters writing you checks, and it sounds like you've got a property and a plan to really help people.
Yep, I do. I'm excited about it. I've piloted it several times, so I know it works, because I go after the body, soul, and spirit in terms of how to heal them emotionally, physically, and then move on and give them the structure that they need to push restart professionally and the rest of their lives.
Well, where can people learn more if they want to support the good work you're doing?
They can just check out the Kennedy Institute for Leadership. That's the organization that is the backing behind it. I'm the founder of that, yeah.
The Kennedy Institute for Leadership. Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. And that's what it is, the Kennedy Institute for Leadership.
.com?
.com.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Kennedy, we so appreciate you sharing your story. It's an important story for our viewers to understand that we're in entirely new waters, where somebody at a bank, a local bank, could basically shut down an account. That's why we encourage all of our viewers to build relationships with local bankers and find ones that you feel comfortable with, that you can work with. Find people you can trust to work with. So again, this sounds like economic warfare. We appreciate you sharing your story in the Economic War Room. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you.